Hey pals, I'm Paige Miller and I'd like to welcome you to Frame and Fiber, which is my podcast. And also, it is my picture framing and yarn shop in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. So if you ever find yourself at the Jersey Shore, pop on in. How are you? Welcome to the last week in April. We're in the last week in April. Holy moly. I got a lot done this month. I'm very grateful for all of the extra time that I have had. Just dealing with what we're all dealing with in the world right now. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're safe. I know the further we get into this world with COVID-19, things change, and with that, just the further along we get, the closer to home that the virus is hitting. So I do just want to let you guys know that I'm thinking of, maybe not specifically because I don't know all of you, but I am thinking in my prayers each day about those around the world and in our community who are either suffering with the virus or have lost loved ones. I have a couple of friends who have lost loved ones, and so it's just been really hard to watch and to see. So thinking of you guys, I'm also thinking of all the people who are in hospitals who can't have their loved ones visit them. That's so sad. For me here at the house and at the shop, like everyone else pretty much, spending a lot of time by myself, or with Paul Miller at least, and I am using the time as best as I can, and I'm being grateful for everything with as minimal complaining as I can possibly do. The shop is going okay. I'm keeping busy. And I don't know, I just really hope that you guys are all doing well. So yeah, so keeping busy. I am coming to you today. It is a pretty cloudy, overcast day here in New Jersey. I haven't stepped outside today. Today is technically Monday. It's technically my day off, so I don't have to step outside. I am drinking a cup of English breakfast tea with some cream and the last of my Norwegian honey. It was so good. It was creamed honey. Oh, so delicious. So the last of it is in this cup of tea that I'm sharing with you guys. So do you have a cuppa with you? Grab one. Pause this. Grab one if you can. And I'm drinking it in my mug that my friend Natalie of Remembrances Pottery made for me and Paul Miller. She made 2 of these. Miller and I love to hammock camp and sleep in hammocks. So there's the hammock. And we love to kayak. And sweet Natalie made these for us last year. Oh, it's so good. So, have you been knitting and crocheting up a storm? Making all of the things? Baking, cooking, experimenting? I hope you have. Do you guys feel really bad for your friends and family who are not makers? Because I feel bad for them. I feel bad for people who keep saying they're bored. Oh my gosh. I don't think I could be bored for 30 years being locked in my house. I really don't. I'm not kidding. Oh my gosh, I've been trying so many new things, which I will talk about at the end. So let's go there. Let's go into knitting first, right? That's why we're all here. I will chat more about my life at the end if you care to, hear all that. So, finished objects. Let's talk about that first because I only have one. And I say only one because it's not knitting, it's spinning. I finished spinning this beautiful fiber. Oh, that's really good. Look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. This was super fun to spin. It is fiber from Classy Squid Fiber Co. I will link below. Anything I mention in this video will be linked below, and if I miss something and you're interested, please just send me a message and I'll get that info to you. So yeah, it's so pretty. So I ended up with about 336 yards. It turned out to be, it's hard to tell because I'm so not as consistent as I should be when I'm, not should be, would like to be when I'm spinning, but I think it works out to about a sport weight because it's a little shy of 4 ounces. So at that weight with the 336 yards that I got, that's about a sport weight. I spun half of this on my electric Eel Wheel Nano and the other half on my Bosworth spindle. Nope, not my Bosworth spindle. My Classy spindle by Classy Squid. Isn't it beautiful? She might still be dyeing this colorway. I'm not sure. It's a Harry Potter colorway. She did a whole series of Harry Potter colors, and this is Bezoar. And it is a blend of wool, mohair, silk, and hemp. First time spinning a blended, or I should say blended with so many different types of fibers. I've blended with different types of breeds of sheep, but not of sheep, yes, of wool. But never, you know, hemp and silk and mohair. It was very interesting. It took me a while to get used to it. In fact, spinning this, because it was my first time spinning a fiber like this, I think the spindle was a little bit easier for me. It was pretty quick on the wheel, which you can imagine because that's electric. But the spindle, I was able to really feel the difference in the fibers and go slow enough that I could kind of catch up, you know, if the wool wanted to really go, or the hemp wanted to really kind of stretch itself out. I don't know how to describe it. They all pull into the twist at different rates, and so I had to really get used to that. Once I got used to it, it wasn't so bad. Of course, I got used to it when I only had maybe an ounce left to spin. Whatever, I'm so happy with the way it turned out. Let me open it up for you. I guess it doesn't look that bad. It's pretty uniform. I will say it was a pretty balanced spin. I have a very minimal turn in it, kind of a twist. So that was good. I didn't know how it would ply up because I spun literally half on a spindle and the other on a wheel. So I didn't know if that would change the way it would ply. I did 2-ply this. That was a little bit tricky because I spun on a drop spindle and a wheel. I had bobbins versus shafts, and so plying those together I realized wasn't really gonna be effective. So I transferred all of the single plies from the shafts of the spindle onto bobbins. So it took me a little bit longer that way, but it wasn't annoying. I mean, I would do it again. So yeah, spinning, finished object, 336 yards. I'm pretty pleased with that amount of yarn. I think I have some hand spun from friends of mine in my stash that may work well with this. All right, so that was my FO. I was hoping to have knitting finished objects for you, or at least one. I was hoping to have my Forest Path hat finished, but I ran into a little snafu and had to, well, let me grab it so I can show it to you. So I'm halfway through the first chart of trees. I've made it to the forest and she's growing. I had to change needles. I started this on a 24-inch needle and now I'm on a, what is that, a 30-inch, 32-inch maybe? So yeah, she's growing. I'm using Foster Sheep Farm sport weight yarn. So there I am. So I think it was this one right here. So that is, this is the top, but, so that right there is the tree, and it's coming out great. But I realized when I was knitting that I skipped a yarn over, so I didn't have one of my tree holes, the eyelets here, I didn't have one. And because I skipped it, then the subsequent ones were spaced improperly. So, and I didn't want to rip the whole thing out because that was going to make me so sad. So what I did was, well, I got frustrated, right? So then I didn't touch it for a while. And so when I finally did pick it back up, I decided to just drop down just the one pattern repeat. I think it's like, it's an odd number. So it's like 19, 17, 21, somewhere in there stitches for the pattern. And so I just marked off here with stitch markers and dropped down, took all of those stitches off, dropped them down, and then re-knit just the one pattern repeat back up. And that did the job. And so you might think, gosh, that's so frustrating. And I would be like, so, you know, maybe that would have you stuck for days, or you just like want to quit. Or maybe you'd say, well, I'm just gonna have to live with that because I don't know how to fix it. This is when I tell you that practice makes perfect. Practice fixing your stitches. It's part of knitting. Making mistakes is part of making. And fixing mistakes is also part of making. And so, you know, right away I was like frustrated and I put this down and didn't pick it up. And then I realized I was having a bad attitude. The whole point of, I would like to say the whole point of knitting, but that's not true. It's not the whole point of what I do. I like to explore and experiment. And because I like to explore and experiment, I'm going to have to figure stuff out, right? And so figuring it out was better than ripping it out, right? So I would really say to you out there, if you make a small mistake in your knitting that you could drop down and you're nervous to do it, don't be nervous. Well, all right, that's silly because you're nervous. You can't help being nervous. How about just be nervous and do it anyway? There are plenty of YouTube tutorials on how to drop down stitches. I did one and it's kind of a little too complicated, I think, and I didn't really show it from the beginning, so I want to redo dropping down and fixing. You can check it out. I'll put it up here. And just so you can see what I'm talking about, but I do want to do a better video of dropping down stitches and just fixing your mistakes. I've done it a bunch of times, dropping down and fixing whatever the mistake was. And yeah, the first couple times it didn't turn out as great, but practice makes perfect. It really does. So that's it. I don't have much. I'm only like 20 rows past where I was last time you and I spoke. So, but that's what happens in 2 weeks. You know, I think I did put it down for at least a week. I didn't touch it because I just didn't feel like dealing. So what I knitted on instead was my Otra sweater. That's my next work in progress. Did I say who that's by? No. My Forest Path Hap, H-A-P, is by Patricia Fortune, who you can find on Instagram as P Fortune, also Knitography. And you can find all of her designs on Ravelry under Knitography. So look for Patricia. She has, since releasing this pattern, she's released another pattern. She's doing a whole series of patterns and stitch markers and notions that she's making based on this, I want to say motif, but that's the wrong word. Topic, being in the forest, on the forest path. So check her out. Oh, and before I move on to my sweater, that brings me into, let's talk about the Cal that I am co-hosting. We are using the hashtag Forest Path, K-A-L, and we would love to have you join. It's knitting that pattern now through May 31st. You have plenty of time. It's not a complicated pattern, and it really is a fun, enjoyable knit, minus what I was just talking about with my frustration of messing up my lace. But anyway, join us. It's really good. Check out the hashtag on Instagram and see so many beautiful pieces, which I think I will put some pictures up here of people who I've been really admiring on Instagram and their pieces. Yeah, yeah, so join us. If you are interested and would like more information, you can visit my other co-hosts all have Ravelry pages. I will link below to Rachel of Treehouse Knits, Joyce of Ruby Moss Cottage, and Marta, nope, I should just change her name. It's Martushka Makes. And then also NC Austin Knits. Those are my co-hosts for this Cal, and we will, or I will link to them below. That way you can also enter to win. We're all giving prizes away. So there's a bunch of prizes to be had. So please use the hashtag on Instagram, which is where I'll be drawing my prize from. Please take a picture of your finished project, and spread it around. The more chances to win for you. My prize to the winner, the winner that I pick, will be this. These are stitch markers made by the lovely Patricia, who designed our Forest Path Cal, or our Forest Path shawl. So those are her stitch markers that she made to go with this shawl. So I thought that would be an appropriate prize for you guys. So yeah, that's what you could win. They're beautiful. I have her, oh, I do. I don't have those stitch markers, but I have another set. I have her Selbu stitch markers, which, gosh, can I even show this? Yeah, there we go. Pardon my hands. So yeah, those are her Selbu stitch markers. I use these all the time. These are handmade by Patricia. High quality. So the stitch markers that you will win, you will love. I promise. All right, so there we have the Cal. All right, on to my next whip, which is my ultra sweater, which is another work in progress fail. Not really, but really. So I was so frustrated with my shawl that I was like, you know what? Let's just work on the ultra sweater because it's a fingering weight sweater. It's going to take me a bazillion years to knit it. So I'll just concentrate on that until I can get my mind wrapped around fixing my shawl. So I did. I knit, well, I'll show you where I am. I put a, so this is where last time I saw you guys, that's where I was. Why am I laughing at that? Because I knit, so I finished the color work, and then I had to knit for another 12 rounds to finish the steek out, because that's my steek right there. Okay, so 12 rounds. Great. So I finished my color work, and I'm like, oh, smooth sailing from here. So I put the pattern down, and I just started knitting. Knitting, 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 knitting. And from the color work to where I stopped knitting was probably about 6 inches. And then I realized I didn't bind off my steek. I knit 6 inches past the bind off. No, 4 inches past the bind off, but 6 inches total. Did I mention it's a fingering weight sweater? So whatever, it was just stockinette. Also, it's a toothy, lovely yarn. This is Navia Duo. So I just ripped out my needles and just ripped back. It was not an issue. There were no slippery yarn that I had to worry about. So I ripped back. So I'm basically back to where you saw this last time. I binded off. What is the proper tense? I don't know. So there's my bound off steek. Oh, I know why I realized I did it. It was because I was 6 inches past, and I was like, you know, I want to try this on, so maybe I'll cut the steek down. So that's when I realized I didn't bind off my steek. That was just a careless mistake. That is a silly, absolute silly mistake. So, work in progress fail this week. I mean, come on, that's all part of knitting, right? I love personally, I like talking about all of our war stories and knitting. How are your works in progress going? Are you doing okay? I wish on YouTube you could comment with pictures so I could see your finished projects, your works in progress, whatever you want to show off. You know, you could, if you want, on Instagram, you could either tag me in one of your posts if you want to show off, you know, because I would love to see what you're working on. Or if you want to do like a hashtag, Frame and Fiber Pals. Frame and Fiber Pals. Oh my gosh, that's a good one. You're my pals. So maybe we'll use that hashtag so we can show each other what we're working on. I'll start that today after I finish recording here. I'll go and post pictures of those two things. And I would love to see your stuff. So that's it for my knitting. Big fail. Are you wondering what I'm wearing? I forgot to say this in the beginning. This is my Void. I showed this in the last podcast. It's finished. Void by Melanie Berg. You can look that up on Ravelry. It's a beautiful knit and I love it so much. Okay. So speaking of comments and us sharing with everyone, I want to thank you guys for the last two videos I did. Was my Norway video, my Norway recap video, and then before that was my framing the design process series that I'm doing for picture framing. That one was with Rachel of Treehouse Knits. Thank you guys for all of your comments. I really appreciate all of the encouraging words you had. I appreciate that you appreciate the work I'm putting into my videos. Yeah, it was great. Eileen commented on my Norway video talking about her when she was a kid, talking about her sit-upons, which I thought was really cool. I'll insert her comment here. But yeah, very similar to the Sittundalag that I was using in my video. So I thought that was pretty cool and fun to know about. It's not new to New Jersey. It's not new to the United States. It was just new to me. So thanks, Eileen, for sharing. What else? Oh, and then Cheryl commented that she would like to see the cross stitch process, or I'm sorry, from the framing video, the cross stitch process, not so much the design, although she did enjoy that, but she would love to see my process on the mounting and putting it all together. So I do have in that series several more cross stitches that I'm framing, so I will definitely make sure to put in a process video with one of them. So thanks for that, Cheryl. And then, oh, Danielle, I think it was in the last podcast, so episode 50. This is episode 51. Did I say that? I forget to say it all the time. Shoot, am I gonna say it right? I got remember the commercial? It may still be a commercial. Easy breezy beautiful. Easy breezy beautiful. See, I'm forgetting. But anyway, I got myself all confused in that last episode over how the jingle went for CoverGirl makeup. I thought it was Maybelline, and Danielle remembered it, and she totally caught on to what I was trying to say. So thanks for that, Danielle, because I could not remember what the heck commercial that was. So yeah, you guys are great. Thanks so much. Well, I guess we can move into shop news and my life news. Life news. Let me just insert a video of my life news. How'd you like that? I got Paul Miller chickens for his birthday. Now his birthday is not until July, but baby chickens are born in the spring, so we had to get them now. I have chickens. Oh my gosh. Right now, they're living in a corralled area of my TV room. I had them in the basement, but then I was afraid my cat could get to them because I couldn't close off the basement. So I put them in the TV room. They are so cute. They fit in the palm of my hand. At least now they do. Paul Miller is busy designing his coop, so they can't go outside yet for about another month until they get all of their feathers and until it's warm enough here at New Jersey, which right now it's not because the temperature it's 45 degrees out right now. Dang, that's cold. So if you need a copy, you can definitely visit Frame and Fiber NJ on Etsy. And you can find it there. You can also find back issues of Taproot. It's really funny too. I interrupt myself so many times. I don't know how you guys can follow anything I say on this podcast. See, I did it again. What was I gonna say? Oh right, back issues. So I put Taproot up and I forget how many issues I have, but I put up the listing and I didn't tell anyone it was up there. I still haven't. Like, technically, I'm talking to you guys, but I still haven't told anyone. Someone bought 2 back issues of Taproot. That was so cool. So I didn't even think in my brain, which is silly because I should have thought of this, but listing my magazines in my Etsy shop, specifically the back issues, is great because a lot of times the magazines don't reissue. They don't reprint their issues. And so if you really do love Taproot, which I love Taproot, this is not just for knitters and crocheters. This is for, I mean, well, inspiration for makers, doers, and dreamers. Seriously, great recipes, great articles. It's such a cool magazine. Yeah, so it didn't even occur to me that people would be looking for back issues if they start falling in love with this magazine. So I also have listed in there a few back issues of Making, Pom Pom, and Lina. Taproot. Go check it out. Go read Marsha's article. I'm not going to tell you any more about that because I really think you should go check that out. The Etsy shop has been great. I put in a bunch of accessories. I'm listing my needles. They may be up right now. They may not because I might still be working on them. They take a lot longer for me to do the listing because there's so many sizes and blah, 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 blah. But so the Etsy shop's been going great, like really great. I think maybe once I get everything up on Etsy, I think I might start doing some kits for patterns. If you have a thought on that, leave a comment. So that's that. I've talked about pretty much everything. That's about it. So comment below if there's anything in the recent past that you are interested in hearing a little bit more about, or if you just have a question and I can just, you know, send you a private message, that's fine too. But yeah, get in touch, please. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. But more importantly, if you want to be part of this community here that we're cultivating at Frame and Fiber, subscribe. Visit me over at Instagram, where you can find me as frame.and.fiber. You can also find me there as Paige the Framer. So, oh, and on Ravelry as Paige the Framer. Whatever, I'm all over social media. Frame and Fiber / Paige the Framer. That's how you can find me. And hopefully you will find me and then I can find you and we can live happily ever after. All right, guys. So until next time, I hope you are well and safe and happy making. Bye. I know sometimes, strike that, most of the time I am scatterbrained. Once you see this, it'll be up. Shush, be quiet.